Graham Whelan, also known as the Whig, is a notorious figure in the Irish criminal underworld, particularly linked to the infamous Kinahan Cartel. His life, marked by a series of violent crimes and deep involvement in organised crime, tells a story of a man who rose through the ranks of Dublin's criminal networks, surviving feuds, arrests, and personal tragedies. Whelan's criminal career spans over 2 decades, during which he has been involved in drug trafficking, violent feuds, and money laundering. Despite his numerous run-ins with the law, Whelan has managed to evade long-term imprisonment until 2021, when he was charged with money laundering and possession of drugs. Welcome back to Crime Chronicles. Stay tuned as we delve into the life and crimes of Graham Whelan, exploring his rise within the Kinahan Cartel, his involvement in the Crumlin-Drimnagh feud, and his more recent legal troubles. Graham Whelan was born and raised in the Crumlin area of Dublin, a neighbourhood known for its tough streets and criminal activity. From an early age, Whelan was exposed to the harsh realities of life in one of Dublin's most notorious areas. His upbringing, surrounded by poverty and crime, played a significant role in shaping his future. By the time he was a teenager, Whelan had already become involved in petty crime, which quickly escalated as he became associated with some of the most dangerous criminal figures in Dublin. Whelan first came to national attention in 2000, when, at the age of 17, he was arrested alongside Philip Griffiths and Declan Gavin in a Dublin hotel. The trio was caught with an incredible 1.6 million euros worth of ecstasy tablets and cocaine. The bust was one of the largest drug seizures in Dublin at the time, and marked the beginning of Whelan's career as a significant player in the Irish underworld. When arrested, Whelan's arrogance was apparent. He told the officers that he could do 10 years in jail standing on his head. This statement was indicative of the bold and fearless attitude that would characterise much of his criminal career. The arrest of Whelan, Griffiths and Gavin sparked the infamous Crumlin-Drimnagh feud, a brutal gang war that would claim the lives of 16 people over the following decade. The feud was essentially a split within the criminal organisation that Whelan was part of, with 2 factions emerging, one led by Fat Freddie Thompson and the other by Brian Rattigan. Whelan remained loyal to the Thompson faction, a decision that would embroil him in some of the most violent episodes of Dublin's gang wars. The Crumlin-Drimnagh feud was one of the bloodiest gang wars in Irish history, with the first casualty being Declan Gavin, one of Whelan's co-accused in the 2000 drug bust. Gavin was stabbed to death in 2001, outside Abracababra, a fast food restaurant in Crumlin Road, just a week before he was due to stand trial. Gavin's murder was ordered by Brian Rattigan, who suspected him of being a police informant. This murder set off a chain reaction of violence that would see many more lives lost. Whelan's involvement in the feud deepened as he remained loyal to Thompson and the Byrne family, who were becoming increasingly powerful within the Irish criminal underworld. Whelan was arrested in 2007 in connection with the 2006 murder of Gary Bryan, a hitman involved in the feud. Bryan was shot dead outside his mother-in-law's home in what was believed to be retaliation for his role in the 2004 murder of Paul Warren, a member of the Thompson faction. Although Whelan was spotted driving past Bryan's mother-in-law's house minutes before the shooting, he was released without charge, as was his associate, David Byrne, who was also arrested in connection with the murder. Byrne, who was closely connected to Whelan, refused to discuss their relationship with the police, even going so far as to pass a note to Whelan during their detention that read, "Loose lips sink ships." Despite being released without charge, Whelan's involvement in these violent events only served to solidify his reputation as a dangerous and influential figure in the criminal underworld. He continued to rise through the ranks, becoming increasingly involved in the Kinahan Cartel's drug operations in South Dublin and beyond. His influence extended to liaising with other criminal organisations, including gangs in Limerick, which further enhanced his status within the cartel. As Whelan's criminal career progressed, he became more deeply involved with the Kinahan Cartel, one of the most powerful criminal organisations in Europe. The cartel, led by Christy Kinahan and recently by his son Daniel, was involved in large-scale drug trafficking, money laundering, and other criminal enterprises across Ireland, the UK, and mainland Europe. By the time Whelan was released from prison in the mid-2000s, the Byrne family, with whom he had close ties, had become key players in the Kinahan Cartel. In 2011, sensing the increasing pressure from Irish law enforcement, Whelan relocated to the UK. There, he linked up with Thomas Bomber Kavanagh, another senior figure within the Kinahan Cartel, and brother-in-law of David Byrne. Whelan's move to the UK marked the beginning of his involvement in the cartel's international operations. He was suspected of overseeing major drug shipments between Europe, Ireland, and the UK, often travelling to Spain and the Netherlands as part of his criminal activities. In another violent incident, Whelan was convicted of grievous bodily harm after a brawl in Spain in 2016 and received a 2-year prison sentence, which was suspended. Despite his move to the UK, Whelan continued to return to Ireland regularly, where he was believed to be overseeing the cartel's drug operations. Graham Whelan's luck began to run out in January of 2019, when police raided a luxurious penthouse suite at the Intercontinental Hotel in Dublin. Whelan had been staying at the hotel for 3 nights, paying €2,100 for his stay. During the raid, police found Whelan in possession of €1,275 in cash and a €28,000 watch, both of which were later determined to be proceeds of crime. Whelan's belligerent attitude during the arrest was typical of his bravado. He told the officers that he was a dangerous criminal, and even referred to one of the officers present as having previously arrested him during the 2000 drug bust. Following his arrest, police launched a major Criminal Assets Bureau operation, targeting properties and businesses linked to Whelan. The investigation revealed that Whelan had been involved in money laundering for the Kinahan Cartel, using proceeds from drug trafficking to finance his lavish lifestyle and refurbish his home in Walkinstown in Dublin. Whelan eventually pleaded guilty to participating in the activities of an organised crime group, money laundering, and possession of small amounts of cannabis and cocaine. The 2019 arrest marked a turning point in Whelan's life. Not only was he facing serious legal consequences, but he was also dealing with immense personal tragedy. His partner had taken her own life, an event that Whelan's defence counsel claimed had led to a dramatic change in his life. Whether this change was genuine or simply a strategy to gain leniency in court remains to be seen. In late 2021, Whelan was sentenced to 4 years in prison, reduced to 3 years because of his early guilty plea, with 18 months of his sentence suspended. Law enforcement must be incredibly frustrated considering Whelan's criminal record, which includes 33 previous convictions, 5 of which are for drug offences, suggesting that his ties to organised crime may be difficult to sever. Since his release from prison, Whelan has been heavily targeted by the Criminal Assets Bureau, who have seized money from his bank accounts, believing it to be proceeds of crime. The FBI has also been involved in having fraudulent companies he is involved with struck off, as they were believed to be laundering Kinahan Cartel money. It seems that Graham Whelan will be feeling the heat for some time to come. Thank you for joining us today on Crime Chronicles. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the channel with your friends.